everyone, it's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another video. Today is for my beginners out there, my beginner vegans, my vegan curious, my veganuary participants. I'm so excited that you guys are here and watching this video and open to the idea of veganism. Just want to give you a round of applause. In all seriousness, I am really excited that you are even interested in a vegan lifestyle. I know that it is very, it might seem very overwhelming and it might seem a bit scary and you might be going through a lot of conflicts in your head. I get it, I've been there. But today I wanted to kind of ease you a little bit and hopefully give you guys some practical advice on following a vegan lifestyle. A lot of these things you may have heard before, but I'm just going to chime in and just talk about my own experiences while I'm giving you guys some of these tips. I've been vegan now for about 4.5 years. Whew. Time goes by too fast. I have been plant-based, mostly plant-based for almost 8 years, about 7.5 years. Oh my gosh, is that right? I went vegan in 2014, in the summer of 2014. Before that, I was actually a pescatarian. I was following a mostly plant-based lifestyle, aka I was not eating any other animal products other than fish. I did that for a few years and I started doing that in 2011. So yeah, it's been a journey, to say the least, but I'm really excited to share with you guys some tips on this lifestyle. Let's get started. Before I delve into the tips, this channel is really about trying to be a vegan in the most seamless way possible and basically transitioning into the lifestyle in a very affordable and easy manner, okay? So I am all about making this lifestyle just doable for everyone. So if this is something that you guys are interested in, then don't forget to subscribe. I'm gonna be doing lots of videos specifically targeting beginner vegans or people that are transitioning into this lifestyle. So if you are interested in that, then definitely subscribe. Links to previous videos I've done where I discuss different topics that I think are relevant to you, I will link those down below in the description box. But yeah, let's get started with tip number 1. Know your why. I always talk about this, but I think it's one of the most important things when you do anything really, but especially when it comes to something that takes a lot of dedication as an individual, such as veganism. You need to know why you're doing it, right? Because otherwise, it's gonna be so easy for you to not do it. If you don't know why, if you have no reason to do something, why would you continue to do it? Especially when there are so many barriers to a vegan lifestyle. As much as I wanna make this as easy and seamless as possible, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that it's going to be completely easy for you to transition, because obviously you're gonna be going against the grain, which is always gonna be difficult no matter what you're doing. But if you know your why and if you really have strong beliefs, then it's gonna make it a lot easier. And that's what made it a lot easier for me to transition. So I'm gonna go as far as to say that you should really try and make the ethical connection. I know a lot of people go vegan for health reasons and for environmental reasons as well, which I guess is part of the ethical connection. For me, it really comes down to the animals and the things that we are doing to those animals. I think most of us can sit here and agree that we love animals and we don't want to mistreat other beings that don't deserve to be mistreated, especially when we don't have to. So if we can agree to that, then veganism is the only thing that really makes sense. Obviously, it's within reason as to what you're able to do with your lifestyle. So for me, the ethical connection was the key, and it's the only thing that really keeps me going. The reason needs to be bigger than you. It needs to be bigger than you because you, unfortunately, just like me and every other human, are very imperfect and you are flawed in many ways, just like me, just like every other human being on this planet. We are flawed. We are not perfect. We have issues, okay? We have major issues, okay? We never follow through with what we want to do. We are flaky AF, okay? We are lazy, we are flaky. We have problems. So relying on just you and solely you to do something, I mean, it's gonna be hard. You might be able to go vegan for a while, but it might be very hard for you to maintain that without a reason that's bigger than yourself, okay? So try to think ethical, try to think environmental. Again, I'll leave some sources down below where you can get some more information, but you really need to know your why. I think that's the most important thing before you even make any real decision. You know, just because your friends are doing it is not really a reason. Because it's cool is not a reason. Because it's a trend, it's not really a reason. I mean, you can do it, of course. I encourage you to try it out, but it's never gonna be long-term if you don't know your why. Number 2, transition at your own pace. What I mean by this is you do not need to go vegan overnight. I just said it. I will say it again. You do not need to go vegan overnight. I know that for veganuary, a lot of you guys are going vegan for the month of January. And I do think that going vegan overnight is a lot harder than transitioning into a vegan lifestyle. Although I do know a lot of people that have gone vegan overnight and have stayed vegan. So I'm not going to discourage you from doing either or, because everyone has a different experience. But going at your own pace, what you think is comfortable, what you find comfortable, is very important. Like I said, we are imperfect, we are flawed, and we have issues. So whatever is in our head is not necessarily going to translate in our life practically. So we might think that we can go vegan overnight, but maybe if you really know yourself, you know that you don't really stick to things. So then maybe you want to, maybe you know that you are much better gradually going into something. Okay, so if you know yourself, try to like really be honest with yourself and see what method would be the best for you. Tip number 3 is to eat a primarily whole foods plant-based diet that is balanced. Whole foods plant-based. This is what has been very heavily backed up by a lot of science to say is one of, if not the most healthiest diet out there. Honestly, I'm not one to give you the lecture on nutrition. I'm not a nutritionist. Sorry, my hair is just, it needs washing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. I am not a doctor, and I'm not at all an expert in vegan nutrition. Again, I'll link some sources down below that will give you some more information about vegan nutrition. All I know is from what I've seen and what I've read, a whole foods plant-based diet that is well balanced and calorically sufficient is a very, very healthy diet. But you do need to realize that it needs to be well balanced. Just because you're eating whole foods plant-based, but you're only eating lettuce and cucumbers and almonds, that's really not balanced. Do you see what I'm saying? So I would check out vegan sources of nutrition such as Dr. Greger. So he has a list, it's called the Daily Dozen Checklist. It's actually an app as well that you can download on your phone. It actually tells you kind of like the portion sizes and different things that you probably should be consuming on a day-to-day basis. It's very simple, very straightforward, so definitely check out that app if that's something that might help you make sure that you are hitting kind of like your basics when it comes to vegan nutrition. Tip number 4, learn a few easy, go-to, affordable vegan meals that you could whip up quickly. There are so many options out there when it comes to vegan meals. Endless, you guys. I know that a lot of people think vegan food is boring or that there isn't really much option, but if you actually look into it, there are so many options out there. There are so many things you could also whip up very quickly. There's stir fries, you can make different kinds of pastas, you can make tofu scramble, oatmeal. I mean, so many different kinds of potential go-to meals. And of course, so many different kinds of meals that you can make in general. Now, because there are so many meals out there and so many ideas out there, this might be very overwhelming for you, especially if you are a new vegan. And especially if you're a pretty simple person and you're not really one to go and like cook new things every single day. I really encourage you to maybe make like a list either in your head or on your phone or on a piece of paper if you're Amish. Just kidding. Write down on a piece of paper some few go-to meals, maybe like 5 go-to meals, maybe like a couple breakfast ideas, maybe like 3 or 4, main meal ideas, things that you can whip up quickly, things that are very, very easy to make, affordable, and that way it's going to just make your life easier because so many times we don't want to think about it. This is the problem, okay? A lot of times we don't want to think about what we need to eat. Same goes for vegans. I don't like to do that all the time. You don't have to do it all the time. Because before, right, when you were not vegan, you're already used to eating a certain way that you've eaten for maybe a very long time. You probably already have a few meals that you choose to eat on a regular basis as a non-vegan. So you just need to replace that when you are vegan, replace it with vegan meals. And you need to do this more kind of consciously. You need to do it consciously because this is something that you are new to rather than something that you are accustomed to already. So that's something that's going to take a little bit of time for you to get used to. After a while, it'll become second nature like it is for me. You start to create like a memory vault. You start to create new memories, new information in your head. So in the beginning, it's going to take a little bit of time for you to create that information. So you're going to build it up slowly though. Don't worry. I actually did a top 12 favorite vegan meals video, I think, 3 years ago, I think. My first year of my YouTube channel, I actually did a video for veganuary where I talk about some of my top meals or top vegan meal ideas. I'm sure those have changed now, but I'm sure they are still very relevant. So if you want to check that out and get some meal inspiration and some ideas on like go-to meals, I'll link that down below. Tip number 5, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. I always say this, I've said this for years because it's so true. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail, guys. Especially because you're new, you're very vulnerable. You're in a very vulnerable state, okay? There is non-vegan food all around you. You're going to have to pay attention, okay? You're going to be a little bit more prepared than you usually would be because it's gonna be very easy for you to slip up in this day and age. Keep your pantry stocked. Keep your freezer stocked. I have a vegan grocery guide video that I posted a few years ago. I'll link that down below. And I also filmed a new one that is more updated. And I'm not sure if that's gonna be out before this video or after. I think it's going to be after this video. So I'll link that down below once that's ready. But make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it. Yeah, keep your pantry, freezer stocked. Those are the most important things because life is busy, okay? We got things to do. I got things to do. I don't have time to go grocery shopping every 10 minutes, okay? I need to make sure that my kitchen is stocked so that when I come home and I don't have any fresh food, let's say, for example, let's say I don't have like fresh produce, I can still go into my freezer, my pantry, and take out some things that I could cook with. And I could still make a meal, a decent, healthy, delicious meal out of things that are in my kitchen already. If you don't have anything in your kitchen prepared, ready to go, it's gonna be so much easier for you to just go back to eating what you're familiar. You know, it's very easy for us to just go back to the familiar rather than, you know, delving into new territory. So yeah, one thing that I really, really strongly encourage is meal prepping. I say this all the time. Meal prepping is the way to go, especially for busy people. Maybe you're a college student. Maybe you go to the office 5 times a week. Maybe you work in, I don't know what you do. Okay, you have a busy life. Okay, I know you do. You have a busy life. You better make sure that you are prepared for this busy life. And honestly, guys, meal prepping saves you time. Overall, it saves you time. It seems like effort, but it's actually current effort, like taking a little bit of effort and a little bit of time, and like this is like an investment. Okay, it's an investment of your time and effort for the future, and then your earnings will be that you can save time in the future. Okay, and you can also save money. So meal prepping is seriously such a great way to transition into a vegan diet. Especially if you live in a place where, you know, maybe there aren't that many vegan options, okay? Maybe you can't go out and find a Whole Foods or find a veggie grill or wherever. Maybe you don't live in LA. Maybe you don't live in London. You live in a normal city where most people still are not familiar with veganism. So you probably have very few options when it comes to eating out. So when you meal prep, not only do you save a lot of money, not only are you probably gonna eat much healthier, but you can also eat what you want. If you are interested in meal prep and you know how to get started with meal prep, it's so easy. It's literally just making food just in larger quantities so that you can eat it, you know, for a few days. It's as simple as that. It doesn't get that much more complicated than that, okay? So yeah, I have tons of meal prep videos, guys. I used to do a lot, okay? I'm gonna do more this month. So if you want some ideas on meal prepping and what kind of meals that you could prepare as a vegan, I will link that playlist down below. Tip number 6. Do not strive for perfection. Guys, trying to be a perfect vegan is literally going to probably make you fail, okay? It's the irony of it all, guys. It's this obsession with being this pure, perfect vegan, especially when you're really obsessed with the nutrition. This is why people fail. We have seen it time and time again, especially people that are very, very obsessive about their eating habits, people that try these fad diets because they're constantly aiming for some perfect body. The irony of striving for perfection or trying to be perfect is that most people actually fail completely rather than someone that just tries to have a more balanced, it's okay if I fail kind of approach. Really just allow yourself a little bit of room and allow yourself to be a human being, okay? Allow yourself to make mistakes because especially when you're new to veganism, it's gonna happen. I would be very surprised and very shocked if you weren't making mistakes in the beginning, okay? It would actually kind of make me a little bit worried because I'm like, this is too perfect. Where are the mistakes? I don't know. So if you make mistakes, if you slip up, just be kind to yourself, okay? Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't, expect that you're going to be perfect. Just allow yourself that mistake, learn from that mistake, move forward. Move forward with your life. It is not the end of the world. You are not all of a sudden a non-vegan because you accidentally ate something. Maybe you did it intentionally. Either way, it's a mistake. We're imperfect, like I said. It's not gonna be easy to go against 99% of the population. Allow yourself the mistake. Allow yourself to be kind to yourself and move on. You do not have to be perfect. No one is ever perfect. And if you try to be something you're not, you're going to fail. So there you go. Tip number 7, supplement. I know, this is boring, but you gotta supplement. You gotta make sure you got the B12 going, okay? We all know we have to take B12. I'm not the best at taking it, but I'm trying to be better. I've been pretty good in the last few weeks, but make sure you're supplementing, okay? Make sure you're taking that B12. Take your health seriously. It is important. Maybe get a blood test after like a few months, just to make sure that your numbers are good, just to kind of cover the bases. But yeah, make sure you supplement B12. I usually just supplement, actually I have like a list of vitamins that I take, but my main 2 things are B12 and vitamin D, just because I just don't get enough sunlight. So don't forget to supplement. Tip number 8 is to continue to learn and grow. Life is about learning and growing and expanding your mind, expanding your horizon. And when it comes to something like veganism, we really can't stop researching and learning and just finding out more information, especially in the beginning. Do your research, guys. It's so important, whether it is regarding nutrition, if you are concerned with a certain nutrient, if you are concerned with, I don't know, the environmental impact, if you just want to hear more about the vegan lifestyle, research, learn more, gather more knowledge. You're gonna have a lot of conversations, guys. You're gonna have a lot of conversations with people regarding veganism, and it might be good to have a little bit of knowledge under your belt. It'll make you feel good, okay? It also make you, become slightly better at arguing for the vegan movement. At advocating, I should say, not arguing, advocating for the vegan movement. Keep learning, keep doing research. I'm pretty bad at this, to be honest, but do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. Well, to be fair, in the beginning, I did do quite a bit of research. I watched documentaries, I read some books. Now I do less, but what you gonna do? Okay. That leads to tip number 9. Try to be empathetic and understanding toward everyone, not just vegans, not just non-vegans, toward everyone. Let's try to understand where everyone is coming from, whether they are an angry vegan, whether they are a vegan hater, whether they are someone that went vegan and then went back to eating animal products, whatever it may be, an ex-vegan, okay, whatever they may be. Let's try to understand, let's try to be empathetic. You don't have to agree, but I think it's really important that we kind of understand each other, because so often there's so much conflict within this topic. It's very controversial, veganism, vegan community, people outside the vegan community, everyone has a say and everyone has an opinion on this topic. So one of the mistakes that I think a lot of new vegans make is that they're very angry, they're very passionate. New vegans are very, very passionate. They're new to this information. This is just a mind fuck. Can I say that? Your mind is blown. You're like, how did I not know about this all along? Okay, you're angry at society, but let's try to be empathetic. Let's try to understand everyone's journey and the fact that we are all flawed. I think that is the theme of this video. Human beings are flawed, okay? So if you're a new vegan and you're really passionate, I totally admire your passion, but calling someone nasty names for not going vegan or not understanding you, that's not really gonna go anywhere. Just speaking from, seeing so many of these interactions. I wouldn't listen to someone that calls me something that's really rude or mean. If you want people to understand you and get where you're coming from, you also have to practice that understanding and compassion and empathy toward them. I think it's important, whether you're a new vegan or not, to be just a bit more understanding and a bit more empathetic. I try to do that too. I'm not perfect, once again, but let's remind ourselves of that. Tip number 10. Socialize as much as you can within the means that you have. So this should have been a tip further up, but socialization is key. It's super important. We are social creatures, human beings. We cannot survive without others, okay? I don't care how introverted you are. I don't care how much you think that you are much better off just being in solitude. 99.9% of the time, you need human interaction in one way or another. And we thrive on social interactions. We need to feel welcome. We need to feel included. We need to feel like part of a community. This is just basic human needs, right? So I think one of the most difficult things, most difficult challenges of going vegan is the social challenge. Because most people are not vegan, most of us don't have a very strong social circle that is going to understand you, and not, I mean, even if they understand you, doesn't mean they're going to be vegan. So you probably want to try, at least try and find a vegan community within your community if you can, preferably in person, preferably an actual like local community. That's probably the best place to do your socialization. That's probably the best place to start. I'm not saying you should abandon your current friends or family because they're not vegan. That is definitely not a good idea. But I think it would be good to have another group of friends, if you can, that understand you, that are kind of going through these same things as you are. Maybe you're in university and you could join like a vegans and vegetarians club. There's also tons of meetups out there that you could join. Of course, if you don't have any local in-person, support, then you could also join groups online. There's a lot of vegan communities online. There's Reddit, there's Facebook, there's Instagram. I mean, there's so many different places that you could socialize in. I know it's not the same as in person, but it's still there. So try to, be a social person, even if you might feel uncomfortable, because just feeling alone in this lifestyle is going to be one of the hardest things to get over. I still struggle with this, okay? I'm not even gonna lie. I still struggle with this because I don't have a big group of vegan friends. I don't know if that's surprising to you, but most of my friends, almost all of my friends, are not vegan. And now, they're understanding, they're very kind, and, they eat a lot of vegan food with me, and that's great, but still, I still struggle with this. The fact that I feel kind of alone sometimes in the way that I think, in the way that I navigate through life. So try to do what you can, okay? If you have the resources to make a ton of vegan friends, that would be great, okay? I don't know why my hair is so bothering me. Sorry, I keep moving it around. It's really just a big bush at this point. Tip number 11. What is it? If you are hungry, eat. Eat, eat, eat. The thing is, vegan food tends to be lower in calories overall, especially if you're following a whole foods, plant-based diet. Plant-based foods tend to be overall lower in caloric density, which means you probably will not be eating enough in the beginning because you're trying to figure out your body, right? You're trying to figure out your diet. You don't really know calories. I would really recommend kind of understanding calories, first of all, and understanding that food volume or the size of your food is not an indicator of how many calories it is, okay? Not at all, or how nutrient dense it is. Giant plate of food does not mean that that's going to be a big amount of calories. And because of this, a lot of people are hungry. Okay, they always feel hungry when they follow a vegan diet. One big tip, if you're feeling hungry on a vegan diet, is to make sure you are supplementing the protein and eating enough plant-based protein. This is so crucial. For me, what works the best for me is I like to have a balanced meal. Almost all my meals consist of some sort of a grain, some sort of a vegan protein, and some sort of vegetables, okay? And maybe some healthy fats like nuts and avocado or something. But the majority of my meals are focused on getting the carb, so the grain, and then the protein, and then the veggies. Okay, those are how I structure my meals. That's what works best for me. If I don't add that extra vegan protein thing, I'm gonna be hungry very quickly and I don't feel satisfied. So I think this is a mistake a lot of people make. They don't supplement the protein properly. So they just eat rice with veggies. That to me is not enough. I know it might work for some people. To me, that's not enough, and I'm not gonna feel satisfied. I'm gonna wanna eat more very quickly. You need to make sure that you're eating those balanced meals. I'm kind of scaring you right now. Okay, it's not that serious, but if I don't eat like that, I'm just gonna be hungry. Okay, I'm gonna be hungry and I'm gonna be unsatisfied. I might even eat double the amount of rice, double the amount of veggies, and I still probably won't feel satisfied if I don't add some, protein dense component in there. And also, if you're hungry, eat, because your body is used to having very dense calorie sources. You probably just need to eat a little bit more. Try to have a few calorie dense snacks So things like almonds, any kind of nuts or seeds, these are great because they are pretty high in calories, high in fat, and they're gonna help you feel satiated. Another thing that I would carry with me are things like vegan protein bars. Vegan protein bars are really, really good to have around, especially in between meals if you're feeling hungry. So yeah, calorie dense foods are a little bit tougher to find in a vegan diet, but they're not impossible. So yeah. And last but not least, tip number 12 is to have fun, my friends. Have fun. Experiment, try different recipes, try out making vegan versions of your non-vegan foods. There are so many fun things that you could do on a vegan lifestyle. Everything I talked about so far seems super serious, but in the end, it's so important to have fun with this new lifestyle. Start baking vegan foods. That's what I started doing when I first started eating no dairy, no eggs. I started baking a lot of vegan foods. I never really baked before. It was like a new hobby of mine for a while. And cooking has become kind of like a bit of a hobby / passion of mine too. So vegan lifestyle has really opened me up to cooking more and actually enjoying experimenting with cooking more. You know, going out to eat at vegan restaurants, that's one of my favorite things to do, is exploring vegan options around me, around the world. I love traveling and eating at different vegan establishments, trying out the vegan food in different cities, different cultures, different countries. It's so much fun. So you need to have fun, guys. Have fun with this. Experiment. Go to vegan meetups. Go to vegan potlucks. Host a vegan potluck. Okay, even if your friends aren't vegan, just be like, hey, why don't we do like a vegan potluck for a change? Let's just try it out. It can be a lot of fun, okay? And it can lead to a lot more, you know, depth and meaning into your life. So that's where I will end this video. I rambled for a long time, but I'm hoping that these tips were helpful to you guys. I have other videos on, you know, what not to do when you go vegan. If you want to watch that, I'll link that down below. I also have a video on my vegan story, my vegan journey, and tons of other videos where I just ramble on and on and on. So if you like that, I'll link those down below. I really hope you guys enjoy this vegan lifestyle. It is gonna be a bit of a challenge, but try to think about it in a positive way and in a positive light. Try not to think of the foods that you can't eat, because these aren't foods that you can't eat. These are foods that you won't eat. There is a very big difference. It's empowering to know that you are choosing to follow this lifestyle rather than, you know, you can't eat something. Use words wisely. Don't say, oh, I can't eat that because I'm vegan now. Just say, no, I don't need that. I don't eat meat. I don't say I can't eat meat or I can't eat bacon. I say I don't eat bacon because I can physically eat bacon if I wanted to, but I choose not to. These are little shifts in your mindset that will make a very big difference. Choose words that don't, you know, make you feel restricted. Choose to not feel restricted by having a open mindset. When you start to really focus on foods that you don't eat, rather than so many vegan dishes out there that you could try and that you could be open to, you're gonna just focus on the negative. So really have fun with this. Okay, I really, I could go on and on about this. As you know, I'm very passionate about this topic. So yeah, I hope you learned something. I hope you found this helpful. If you know someone that might be interested in following a vegan lifestyle as well, you can share this video with them, send them some love. And of course, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!